What's going on, guys? My name is Josh.
And I'm James.
And this is the MMA Complex. It's October 3rd, 2017. Back with a brand new episode. Glad to be here, man. What's going on, James?
It's a late night, man. October is upon us, and it's probably one of my favorite times of the year, man.
It's Halloween season.
Yeah, it's crazy that the year is almost over. It seemed like yesterday we were in January. It's already going to be 2018, which is pretty insane.
Yeah.
It's
It flew by quick. I think all the yeyears are flying by quick now, but
it seems like after you're 21, huh? It just breezes by.
Yeah. I don't know if it's like because you're so afraid of, like, I don't know. Some people think about getting older, so you see. I think that plays a part in it because after 21, you're like, you see the next birthday and you're just like, and you anticipate it, and it just flies by.
Yeah,
the years fly by so quick.
My mom turned 60 in next week. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's her birthday next week.
I think the 14th is her birthday. Oh, 2 weeks. 2 weeks.
Yeah, and then your parents get older. That's kind of scary.
She's 60, yeah. I mean, because I think she's gonna probably die in less than 20 years, no?
No, well, think about it. It's a possibility.
Yeah.
You try not to think about that stuff, but yeah, it's a possibility.
I mean, 80 years old is probably like the average lifespan, right? Of a human being.
I think people, around 80, especially if you keep your health up and no disease or
mom in 20 years, so that kind of sucks.
That's depressing.
It is.
Great way to start the show. Mom's gonna die in 20 years.
Jeez, happy Halloween. No, it's crazy though. I think about that often, actually. Like, how am I gonna die? And
it's hard not to think about that kind of stuff,
especially with like all these deaths. Like, you have Las Vegas happening, the mass shooting, and and you see things like that happens often. It's hard not to think about.
Yeah.
Like death, especially with North Korea and everything that's happening around the world. Like, you can't even watch the news without being depressed.
Yeah.
Or even thinking about that kind of stuff. But to think Las Vegas, somewhere you lived when you worked in the UFC, for the UFC, and seeing, what happened is insane.
It is kind of insane because, like, it is weird because I lived there for a few months, and even though it's not that long, like, it was home for a little while.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit more of a connection than just going there for the weekend or whatever. So
yeah,
it was kind of, and I got people there that still live there, friends that still live there. So it is kind of shocking. It is tough to see. And then just the circumstances of how all happened, that the guy's 32nd floor shooting down like sniper style with like 10 assault rifles in his room.
It's crazy.
Out of just a crowd of people. It's like,
it's almost like a live duck hunt. You just kind of just
it's like throwing a grenade in a pond and just killing all the fish. It's like they're just all there for you.
It's like little ants, Just pick whoever you want to shoot and you shoot.
Yeah.
Without any thought or feeling to that person.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I think the MGM doesn't allow you to open certain windows or that window, and then this guy had it open, and I think his girlfriend warned the crowd, I think an hour before it happened, and saying that everyone's gonna die.
Did she? I thought I heard something that his girlfriend was actually out of town,
or someone warned everyone that they're gonna die. But people just thought whoever said that was crazy. And then he did it, and a lot of people died, and it was insane.
Yeah, it's insane. They're still investigating it, but I mean, it's crazy. It gets very political very fast.
Yeah.
Because it happens, almost at one of these major ones, almost at least once a year. It was a year to this, like around this time that they had the Orlando shooting at the club, which was like 48 people. I think this one was 58 people.
Yeah, it's a new record.
Yeah, this was a new record. Unfortunately, it's it gets very political. People start pointing fingers. People start, criticizing one side, of the political spectrum, or at the other. They start kind of pointing fingers at each other, like, oh, well, you're complaining when this happens, but you don't complain when this happens, and if it's not a Islamic terrorist and it's just some guy, some regular Joe Schmo, quote unquote, some white guy, basically. Yeah. It's not terrorism. It's mental illness.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I heard people saying that, I don't know, some people saying that, 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 some people saying that,
That this guy was he was shooting at Trump supporters or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Like, oh, now they're saying that maybe, yeah, he might be some
Anti,
crazy liberal. You know what I
yeah,
mean? But I mean, he was kind of like a wealthy, well-off, upper middle class guy that kind of just lived on his own and had his
yeah.
own hobbies, and
I think
there's
I
really no
mean some
sign
people
there.
just snap. Maybe there's no rhyme or reason for it. People just snap, and
Hmm.
maybe this guy. I mean, it seemed like it was pre-planned, and so
Yeah,
sometimes it has
definitely.
nothing to do with any political, or just people just snap sometimes, and people just do things that we can't understand.
Yeah,
Like the whole like when Chris Benoit killed his family and himself. No,
yeah.
there's no people don't know why he did it. He just did it. I mean, sometimes people just snap,
So, yeah,
but
sometimes people just snap. Yeah,
people like to use certain things as an excuse or as a scapegoat to kind of you know excuse it
yeah.
in
I
some
think people
way.
look for a reason why. You know, what I mean, I think it's easier for people to
Yeah,
find a reason
because
why.
people want some kind of closure, so
Yeah,
people make their own closure by
yeah.
making certain excuses.
Like if it's like someone of color, they'll point to, what were their beliefs, or their, it's obviously it's going to be something.
Yeah,
Um,
it's always like racial profiling in
it's
some
always
way.
racial profiling, but then it's if it's somebody not of color, then it gets point of, oh, what was mentally wrong with them, what happened in their life or some shit, So
Yeah,
it's kind of a double standard. But then you look at the amount of guns he had, the type of guns he had, then that comes into the whole gun control debate.
yeah,
Whereas whereas I think most people would, or even those that carry and have guns and are avid gun people, I think most the studies I think show and the polls show that most people are in favor of tightening rules and gun control laws, and not necessarily taking your guns away, but keeping them at least the best that they possibly can out of the hands of crazy people.
yeah. I think it's always good to have a balance in everything,
Yeah,
and there should be gun control, but there's also be aware of mental health as well. I mean, who
both.
knows? I mean, I think both are important and both need to be at balance. I think too much
Yeah,
of anything isn't good, and it's always going to be in balance. But
but then there's
I
so
think
much.
I think the real losers are the victims, and I mean, the people that lost their daughter, son,
Yeah.
friend, family, husband, wife. Um, it's crazy, and the backlash of it all. It's
And then yeah,
insane.
yeah, and then you talk to most people, and people are kind of just, I think they're already like, well, what's going to change necessarily, and
Yeah,
they're
we
kind
got
of right. What's really going to change?
yeah.
Probably nothing, because
No, I
there's
mean
so much money
we're
in
numb.
politics.
Yeah, we're so numb to all this already. It's sad.
Yeah,
I mean, in our lifespan, like how many mass shootings have we experienced? Not
a
experienced,
bunch.
but
With
we've seen, or
from
it's a,
our just from our teens all the way up
yeah,
until like today, our 30s,
yeah,
a bunch.
a
It's
lot. Yeah, we've gotten
we're
used
used
to
to
it.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, it's part of our generation.
yeah.
It's sad. Um, and speaking of jazz, and I hate to go, try change the subject, but
It's Halloween.
I mean, same with Tom Petty. I mean, Tom Petty,
Yeah,
he's gone, and yeah, another rock star
another rock star
that we
dead.
lost. It's crazy.
That's scary too,
They're
man.
like
Like
they're going down like dominoes, man.
sometimes I think of like more of my favorite musicians dying, and then I feel like I'm gonna somehow change the universe, and they're actually gonna die. I'm like, I don't want to think of that person dying,
Yeah,
because then they might end up dying, and I'm gonna feel like
it's crazy,
I caused
man.
it. You know what I mean?
No,
It's
it's just
like,
crazy how like so many in a row have just
I know. I
gone.
don't know what it is. I don't know if it's. Sometimes I'm thinking is it the stress of what's going on right now in the world? Is that like it's just killing people? Is that what it is?
I don't know. It's crazy, man. But think on like James, those guys are so alive and they're in their 50s and so healthy. But
Like Tom Petty was 66, which is not necessarily that old, really.
no, he's so young.
Yeah, he's fairly still young, and he just had a heart attack, and his wife found him in their home, but I can imagine their home being fairly big.
Yeah,
That's the only thing. I'm probably gonna keep my home, to a nice size, because if I do ever have a heart attack, they can find me quicker.
yeah. Like you won't be all bloated and decomposed
Yeah.
by the time they find
I'm sure
you.
that's a problem for rich people that have like big houses, and one of them dies, and then they don't see they're like at the other end of
Oh,
the mansion,
that's
and they don't get to
nasty.
him.
Oh,
That's all I think of what would happen to Tom Petty. But That I mean, he just played at the Forum not long ago. He played at the
And it's,
Hollywood Bowl like last week.
it just seems like when these rock stars die, they just played somewhere recently. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and it's like that's why I'm like, if somebody's in town, and especially nowadays, I'm like, dude, if they're in town and I want to see them, I'm gonna try my best to go see them
Yeah.
because you know what the hell's gonna happen. Like
Next
everybody's
week,
dying
yeah,
off.
yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
And who's next?
Who's next? Really? Yeah.
San Liso, like, damn, I'm surprised.
He is signing at Kamikaze. Could be his last one.
How much though?
I think he charges like $100.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I'm sure it's going to be his last Kamikaze. I don't know if he's going to last another year. He's like 93.
Yeah, he's still the same.
And his wife just died too. His wife died earlier this year.
Oh yeah, he's a goner.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Usually when their wives die, they're next in line.
Normally it's a lot quicker, but you know, I was like, oh man, he's probably going to die like next month. But you know, he hasn't passed away yet. But he's signing this October. I think this Halloween weekend.
Save your pennies.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I don't know if it's always bad timing with that. It's expensive.
Yeah, $100 is a
Yeah.
lot.
What's it called? We had a quiet weekend in the world of MMA last week.
Yeah,
Not a whole lot going on. You had a Glory fight, Glory card. You know, that was pretty good. Just you know, some MMA fights here and there, but
Yeah.
nothing crazy. This weekend you have what is it 216?
yeah.
Ferguson versus Lee.
It's a fun little card, man.
It's a good card right there. It's a good card.
I'm looking forward to the main event more than the co-main.
Yeah, yeah. That main event, I'm really looking for. I think that whole card. You got Verdun versus Derek Lewis.
Derek Lewis, yeah, and you got Overeem versus Francis, right?
Is that this weekend too?
Is it this weekend?
I don't know if he's on that card.
Oh, no, or
No, I think that one's like on 218.
217 or 218.
I think that's 217 and 218.
Okay.
But no, you have Demetrius Johnson and Ray Borg.
Yeah, I'm
And
not
then
looking
you
for that
have
fight at all.
yeah, that one I'm just looking forward to. I just want DJ to kind of get his win.
Yeah,
and just move on to a next.
I mean, he's not going to beat.
opponent.
I mean, Ray Borg's not going to beat DJ.
No.
There's no way.
And then you have Ferguson versus Lee, which that's going to be an exciting fight.
Yeah, because I mean, Tony Ferguson brings it, man. He's not a boring fighter. He comes forward. He gets hit a lot in his fights, but he brings the fight, and somehow, some way, he always ends up finishing his opponent by either by submission or TKO.
I think that's all. Eventually, right now he could get away with it, but I think eventually that's going to catch up to him. But Kevin Lee was saying that if he wins the title this weekend, the interim title, that he's going to if Conor McGregor wants to challenge him for the title, it's going to be on his terms whenever he wants, not whenever Conor wants.
He needs to relax. He's in the interim champion. Conor's a real champ.
Yeah,
he needs to relax. And come on, is the UFC going to allow that to happen? I mean, the UFC is going to do everything that Conor wants to do. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much Conor and the UFC are in business together. So
yeah,
good luck, Kevin Lee, for that happening.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see it happening. It's not, everything's going to be on Conor's terms.
It's kind of crazy. Like all the fights that are coming up, like Max Holloway and Frankie Edgar just got announced today for 218. That's a headliner. And then you have Ferguson versus Lee this weekend. They're all pretty much everybody's just talking about Conor. It's like who's Conor going to fight next? And
yeah, people should stop talking about Conor with 145 because that's not going to happen.
I don't think so. I mean, Conor's not ruling it out, but he was saying that fighting Max Holloway at 145 is not at the top of his list right now.
Yeah, he's not going to go to 145. I can guarantee you that. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, well, it depends on how 155 goes. If 155. If he loses at 155 at all, I see him going back down.
Yeah, I don't see any situation where he goes down to 145.
No, even if he loses,
I think that cuts too much for him.
Yeah,
not saying that he can't make the weight cut. I think he could. It's just too much.
It takes a lot of.
He struggles making 155.
Yeah, I think he could do it. I think he just looks like shit.
No, I know he can do it.
Yeah,
it's just it's a hard weight cut. I don't see him doing it.
Yeah, he looks like death. Yeah, he looks bad.
Yeah, and then Holloway, the way he's been looking, he cuts at 145 like nothing.
Honestly, I felt like after the Mayweather fight, like Conor made all his money. I'm like, that was gonna be. I think it's a tough road for him. Anywhere he goes, I mean, like I think boxing is a better move for him. I think a fight against Paulie Malignaggi, I think that'll be the most amount of money, and the best fight that he can take, because I think he can actually win a fight against Paulie. Um, Now, if he goes to MMA, it's like you got Kevin Lee, Ferguson, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar, and both either division. You have Khabib, you have Nate Diaz. It's a tough road for him.
Yeah, I think his next fight is gonna be Nate Diaz. I mean that's safe to say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
because
that's a money fight. Right there.
he's not looking at bouts. He's looking at money, and
Yeah.
the most money he can make is against Nate Diaz. That's the fight he's gonna take.
But again, well, he came out saying, like, putting out statements saying that right now, solidifying or unifying any title, 145 or 155, most likely 155, is higher at the top of his list than a money fight. That's what he's saying.
It's crazy how he's never defended one bout
No.
in either weight class. It's kind of hard to even consider him a champion.
Yeah, but I think we excuse it because of who he is and kind of like how he won those titles. Because I mean, smoking, Jose Aldo in 13 seconds is impressive.
Eddie Alvarez wasn't too impressive. I mean, that guy's a joke of a fighter.
But I mean, just making it look as easy as it did, and while getting 2 belts. I mean, that's impressive.
I'm not surprised at how it ended. I mean, it's Eddie Alvarez. I expected that to happen.
I think it was probably the best matchup for him that he could have possibly asked for.
I mean he's slow. He's
striker versus striker.
He's flat-footed. He's a slow guy. He's up there in it. Yeah. I mean, I expected that to happen.
Yeah, we expected it to happen. Yeah.
So
I thought
that wasn't really impressive for me.
In terms of like the overall win, probably not, because Eddie has kind of struggled in the division.
Yeah, and we've seen that.
But I think the way Conor made it look so easy, I think, was impressive.
Even that, because I expected him to make it look easy.
Yeah.
Just because how good Conor is and how bad Eddie is.
Was it him winning?
It was a bad matchup.
Was it more of just actually?
It's just him winning 2 belts at the same.
That was probably the biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, because
it's never been done before. So.
Yeah, because Eddie Alvarez, we know how he is, and he's matchup makes fight, and he's a bad match for Conor. Yeah. Conor's younger, faster. He's an overall better striker, I think, and I mean, people don't give Conor a lot of credit, but he's one of the best.
He's one of the best. I mean, it's definitely one of the best. Big, long.
People hate him, so people want to discredit him all the time.
Yeah, but I mean,
I was one of those guys at one time.
I mean, because he's a very polarizing guy. He has that type of personality where you love him or hate him.
Yeah,
kind of. But I think he earned people's respect over time.
Yeah,
and so
I mean, I can't count him out anymore. But if he fights guys like Holloway, it'd be hard to. Not saying that I would pick Holloway, but it'll be hard fight to pick,
because it's a different.
I can see it both ways. I can see the fight happening both ways.
It's a different Holloway. It's not the same Holloway that he fought for 3-4 years ago.
And Holloway's used to cutting 145. Connor's had to drop. It's just yeah. He's used to fighting at upper weight class. Has to go back down, and
yeah.
That was one of his first fights in the UFC.
Yeah,
he was a very young Holloway.
Definitely not an easy matchup for him though. Then you have what else is this weekend? Speaking of Alistair Overeem, though, he was going on saying that if he wins against Francis Ngannou, that he either was told that he could get a heavyweight title shot next, or that he's expecting one. What do you think?
I mean, I think he should. I mean, I think the heavyweight division is so shallow right now that I think just like the 205 division, heavyweight, I think 1 or 2 fights brings to the title. And Overeem, he's a name that people recognize, and he's gone a lot better in his past couple of fights. Why not? I think it makes sense.
And if he gets a win over Francis, I mean that's
an up and coming prospect.
Right,
yeah, exactly.
So I mean, I think in the heavyweight division, I think it doesn't matter necessarily where you're at. I think if you're at least in the top 5,
I think if you went to more than 2 fights in a row, you're there for a title shot.
Yeah, definitely. If he beats Francis, the only thing is if Francis beats Overeem, does he get a title shot? I don't know if it works the same way for him.
No, I think he'll be top 5. I think one more fight after Overeem will get him a title shot.
That if he makes it look easy, if he dispatches Overeem like nothing, then
Yeah, it's
I
a
could
media
see him
talent
getting.
shot.
I
Yeah,
could see him getting one. It would be interesting to see how he does against Stipe, um, and even if Daniel went up to heavyweight, yeah, that would be interesting right there.
I don't know. I don't see anybody beating Stipe right now. The guy's
No,
just so good.
yeah, yeah, that'd be an interesting fight. I don't know. I don't know if he. If, I could see Francis being a formidable guy because he's so big and powerful that a shot from him
Yeah,
will be tough to take.
I think the biggest fight in the heavyweight division would be Stipe and Kane, but
Hmm.
Kane
I
is
mean, it's Kane. Kane's not even. It's so
yeah,
disappointing with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
And he's like a John Jones, but only with him, he's just injury killed his career, not
yeah,
his outside activities.
yeah. And everybody keeps talking about Kane, Kane, but it's like he's such a disappointment. I mean,
Yeah,
I think
he fights like once every 4 years. He's on Eclipse.
yeah, he's like an eclipse. But I don't even I don't even know how you sustain a living like that. And how do you?
He probably, well, he has sponsors, and he probably does signings for those sponsors
Yeah,
and does like seminars. I'm sure he
coaches. He probably makes
he
money
coaches.
coaching.
Yeah, so I'm sure by coaching guys like DC, I think Luke Rockland, those guys
Yeah,
give him some money.
but
And
it's got to be a like
the very minimum,
a
right?
minimum style of living. Like
Yeah, I
like
don't know. It's crazy. Living
yeah,
off of sponsors alone is he must make some good money off of sponsors.
yeah, yeah. Because
Cons-
the last fight he had was against Travis at
Charles
200.
Brown, yeah.
200, huh? Was that last year? Was 200 last year? I
Well,
think it was last year, right? 216?
we're at 216 right now.
Yeah, so I think
Yeah, it was
it had to be like
last.
last
Yeah,
year, right?
yeah, crazy.
It seems longer than that. It seems a lot longer.
It
It seemed
does.
like 2 years since UFC 200. It seems like a lot longer than
Yeah,
that.
it's crazy.
I mean, think about it like what Rockhold against Bisping. That was this time last year. That seems a lot longer.
Yeah.
Like it's been a lot longer. It's crazy. I don't know. Um, what else? We can get to our first guest.
Yeah.
Wanna? So we got a good show. We didn't even mention that at the top of the show. We got a good show today. We have Kaytlin Neal. She's a Bellator fighter. Won this past at 183 against Brooke Mayo.
Hmm.
She's on the show today, so we're gonna get to her pretty soon. But first off, we're gonna go with Steve Ramirez. He's a local fighter out of CXF, California Fight League, Extreme Fight League, champion over there. Just won recently and is fighting in November to defend his title for the first time. So we're gonna get to his interview now. So enjoy our interview with Steve Ramirez. Right now on the show is Steve Ramirez, CXF flyweight champ. How you doing, man? How's everything going?
Doing great, man. Doing great. Getting ready for my next scrap,
Exactly.
November 4th. So I got to defend that title to be the champ.
Yeah. Give fans an idea of what the upcoming event you're defending. You're making your first title defense. What's going on with you in terms of preparation for that, and when did you get the news?
I got the confirmation over the weekend, or actually last week. Training 3 times a day while working around my work schedule and family.
Yeah.
So everything's going great, man. Everything's going good. Camp is going great. I'm healthy. The weight's coming down. So it's just a matter of getting in there and putting the fruits to work.
Yeah,
and the harvest pretty much. So just getting ready to go, man. Can't wait. November 4th in Studio City.
Awesome. And like they always say that defending a title is harder than actually winning the title. Do you feel more pressure coming into this fight, knowing that you have to defend your title, or less pressure, or is there more pressure for you actually getting the title?
No, I don't feel any pressure. I'm seeing it as another fight.
Yeah.
So the only pressure that I do have is that I need to continue winning fights.
Yeah.
And that's all that's on my head. I'm going to continue finishing fights as well. So I'm looking forward to defending this title, and then hopefully, some big news after this one.
Yeah, exactly. How many times do you want to fight? I mean, this year. I mean, November. I'm assuming you could probably fight again. Are you pretty active in terms of how often you like to fight?
Definitely, man. I'll fight in November, and if I get a call for short notice fight in December for the big promotions, and I'll do it, man. I plan to keep my weight down after this next fight as much as I can, just in case I get a short notice call, because there's some big events happening in December.
Yeah.
So I'm keeping my mind open.
Yeah, even Bellator,
keeping my mind open
in January, dude. Bellator's coming
exactly,
in January. Yeah.
Yeah, so Bellator and at the Forum. So I'm just getting ready for big things, and that's all I see. I only see big things in the future for me after this title defense, and God willing, and with the correct preparation, we're gonna make things happen.
Yeah, exactly.
And have you heard anything from the promotions like leading up to this fight?
Yeah, I mean we can't really
Right.
say too
Talk
too
about
much
that kind
about
of
that,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
Sure, you
yeah,
can.
I'm not looking past
Pass,
my
right.
my opponent, and this title defense. So I'm blessed to be able to defend this title, and I'm glad the opponent approved, and now we got to go in there and take care of business.
Right.
Yeah. How was it? How was it like after winning the title and then bringing the belt back home and how was your family reaction after you won the title? Was it
Oh man, it's just it's good to see them proud. It's good to see those smiles on their faces and get those little tighter hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great, man. I just got back into training the week of my fight.
Oh wow.
After my fight, so I didn't really take too long of a break. I did, the training obviously wasn't as crazy as 3 times a day like I'm getting ready for a fight now. But my family is very supportive. My wife, my friends and family and fans. So it was awesome, man. It was awesome.
So is it hard like working like your job and then training for a championship fight? Is that hard to deal with?
It is. I mean, but I'm actually very blessed to have a job where they support me. They actually sponsor me as well for my
Oh
fights. So
really?
Awesome.
What do you do?
I work for Stocks to Trade. So
Okay.
if whoever's a stock trader out there, it's the best platform, best platform in the business right now,
Right.
guys. But yeah, that's the company I work for. They have 100 support in what I do, and
Awesome.
they support me 100% with everything. So
Awesome.
I can't wait to praise them after my fight, and
Cool.
of course praise God first above everything. But yeah, I'm very lucky to have a job with them, and they work in my schedule, and I could work around getting the correct training and the correct times.
Yeah. So give an idea of like for the MMA fans who aren't necessarily all that familiar with you, like in terms of like how you got into the sport, and what drew you to MMA in general. Like was it an early age type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been into combat sports since I want to say elementary.
Yeah.
I've been pretty athletic my whole life. Playing all types of different sports, and I didn't get into training. Muay Thai was actually the first thing that I got into training back in 2006.
Yeah.
And from there, I did a couple Muay Thai smokers. Back in the day, everything was underground in California. So I did a couple Muay Thai smokers. That turned into jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing. Next thing you know, I'm doing MMA smokers. And this was back in 2007, 2008. So, it's just everything came together. But the funny thing is that I was doing some like labor work back in the day, installing signs.
Yeah.
And I installed a sign for a Muay Thai gym. And, so after I finished installing, I looked inside the gym and I saw them just going at it. They were sparring. And then the master, the sensei, he walks out of the gym and he's like, oh, looks at his sign. It's like, hey, looks nice. Good job, guys. And then he's like, hey, I saw you looking. Like, you've been looking for like the past 30 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, man, this stuff is intriguing. He's like, do you box or anything? I was like, I mean, I've been fighting since I was a little kid, And I thought in my head, I was like, dude, I'm going to come in here and do good,
Yeah.
He's like, come tomorrow. Come tomorrow. We'll give you some gear and get after it. I'm like, all right, cool. So I showed up for a class and some sparring. After the class, I got my ass whooped. And I never, ever left the gym. And
Wow.
I've been intrigued with this sport for the longest time. And I was always a huge soccer fan, a huge football fan, a huge basketball fan. And ever since I got into martial arts, this is the only sport that I follow now.
Wow.
I barely follow any other sport. And it's just, yeah, man, it's taken over my life. And, I'm very happy to be competing at the level I am now. And, it's just, God is good, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is there a fighter that kind of inspired you to be who you are today?
Yeah, definitely. BJ Penn is actually a fighter that I look over a lot because aside from Muay Thai, I fell in love with jiu-jitsu after Muay Thai.
Yeah.
I've been doing jiu-jitsu for a long time as well, and just seeing the way that BJ Penn scraps and could take someone down and just put him into a pretzel. You know, dude, I was so intrigued with that back in the day, and yeah, definitely BJ Penn. He's the number one up there for me.
He's a poster boy of the lightweight fighter. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely
pioneer.
Yeah.
So in terms of like the big promotions, you know, what intrigues you now, and when you're looking at, you know, your options, UFC, you know, Bellator, there's ONE FC, there's a lot out there. There's what's a Pro Fight League with there used to be WSOF. You know, there's a lot of choices out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've
I've
had the opportunity to fight for Bellator twice and World Series of Fighting as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm open to you know, whoever gives me a good contract and I could actually make a living off of fighting. You know, so
well, that was kind of like what I was getting at, like, because UFC doesn't have, you know, room for sponsors. You know, Bellator and other promotions do. Is that something you have to keep in mind nowadays?
Of course, yeah. You know, and I'm open to that. I'm very open to fighting on a, you know, if Bellator offers me a long-term contract, you know, we'll take it if it makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, wherever, you know, ONE FC, UFC, I'm very open-minded to that. Of course, it has to make sense. I do plan to make this a full-time career.
Right.
So definitely, you know, like I said, its contract has to make sense to support a family. So, you know, I'm looking forward to getting those offers pretty soon, and then hopefully, you know, make a life out of this.
Yeah.
Now talk about your opponent coming up. Some of the holes you see in his game, or just like your thoughts on his fighting style overall, and the kind of things that they can expose on fight night.
Yeah, I'm not too much of the smack talker type of guy, but you know, yeah, I do. We do see a lot of things in his game, and you know, I'm looking forward to a good scrap. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
Just like any other fighter, you know, my last couple opponents have been super tough. So, you know, I'm not seeing him as a stepping stone, because you know, he's a human being like you guys and myself. You know, so I don't want to discriminate like that. But this is a competition. It is a contest that I need to win, and that's all that's in my head. You know, I don't plan to leave anything in the hands of the judges like I have in all my past pro fights. So I'm looking forward to going in there and just you know, finish this guy in the first, second, third round.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So you have, you know, your training, you have the family. What do you like to do when you're not fighting, when you're not training? What are you up to?
I'm a drummer. I play drums at church.
Oh.
So you know, I've been actively playing drums since I was about 15 years old. So
really?
you know,
awesome.
I've been playing drums for a long time. Yeah. I like to go play soccer once in a while with the friends, you know. Yeah. And I like to snowboard, I like to bodyboard, I like to surf, I like to skateboard. And I'm into like a bunch of like extreme sports. So, but I try to stay away from that because you know, I don't want to get injured and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, you know, I stay active. I never like to sit down and like I don't watch TV pretty much. You know, I've only watched I could count 3 shows only that I've watched my entire life. You know, I don't really watch that much TV. Narcos.
Oh yeah, I love that show.
He's a big
fan. It's so good. Orange is the New Black, and what other one? Oh, and The Ultimate Fighter. You know, whenever I can.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, like,
and Stranger Things. That's 4 shows.
Yeah.
4 shows.
Yeah, 2027 season 2 coming out.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'm excited for that one.
But you know, like, I'm always intrigued how people find God. Like, is fighting, is God in your present, like, since you were a kid, or like, did you go through something really tough where you had to, you know, come to Jesus terms or whatever?
Yeah, no one's born. The way that I see it is that nobody's born in a Christian or I don't want to say religious. God, I don't believe in religion.
Yeah.
I don't really see, like, if they ask me, hey, are you Christian? I have to identify myself. Yes, I am a Christian, but I don't believe in actual religion. I believe in Christ as my Savior. Mm-hmm. And I was born in a Christian family, but I personally accepted Christ in my heart when I was a teenager. So it was a personal thing that I wanted to do for my life. And, you know, I believe in God. I believe in having a relationship with God, and you know, I feed from that, you know, from my faith, my faith through Christ. So, you know, I'm very strong with that.
Awesome, man.
So yeah, you obviously you're pretty involved, especially in your church. You play the drums at your church and all that. Is that close to your home, close to the gym, or?
Yeah, it's pretty close. Yorba Linda.
Okay.
I serve at a church right now. I'm playing drums. It's at Friends Church in
Yeah.
in Yorba Linda. It's great, man. Having
Did you
a
ever
good
have a
time there at
band?
church.
Were you ever in a band?
What?
Did you ever play
Oh
in a
man, I
band?
was in so many bands when I was in high school.
Yeah.
I played in a couple bands. I played in a really this Christian band that is the most recent band that I played with. It's called Breaking Silence.
Okay.
We broke up about like 3 years ago, so it's pretty recent.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was still so I was juggling, fighting, working, training, and a band.
Jesus.
You know,
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
had
That's
like so many
crazy.
things in my life. Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
so that ended like about 2-3 years ago. It was a good time. It was a good run that we had. Right now I'm just playing drums at church.
Awesome.
My wife and I, we go to Hillsong OC. It
Okay.
actually just opened up in downtown Santa Ana,
Okay.
and then I serve at Friends Church in Yorba Linda.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So, do you envision your fight, and if so, how do you envision this fight ending and your arm being raised on fight night?
Oh, you know what? I envision this guy not being able to take my left or right hook. I'm a southpaw, so he struggles with southpaws. I'm either going to knock him out, and when he tries to go for that takedown, my submission game is one of the things that I have over with my smokers and my amateur fights. I have over 15 smokers.
Wow.
Compared with my amateur fights. All of them finished by submission. Actually, I had 2 knockouts and the rest all submission. As a pro fighter, I have 3 submissions, 3 knockouts. So I'm gonna either knock him out or submit him.
Awesome.
I'm definitely not gonna leave it at the hands of judges, because I know you just never know what can go. As far as leaving it in the hands of the judges nowadays. So
Yeah.
definitely gonna look for that
Cool,
finish.
man. Love your confidence.
So I guess thank you for being on the show, man. Let the fans know where they can find you on social media. Maybe what gym where you can find your gym, and come and train with you and all that stuff, and just kind of maybe shout out to sponsors.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Yeah, well, I'm my Instagram. You can find me Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Steve Ramirez 135. I still need to change it to 125 because I am fighting at the flyweight division.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm open to 135 as well. But I trained with All In MMA and 10th Planet Jiu Jitsu. You guys can show up to the gym, this train, and I just want to give thanks to my sponsors as well, Stocks of Trade, my coach Mike Rush for all the support that he's given me in the past years, my team All In MMA for supporting me as well. Master Cha, he's the one that opened his door to me to All In MMA back in when it's going to be almost 4 years now, I think this year. So, huge shout out to him. He's with MMA Lab now. He moved to Arizona. So
nice.
very thankful for his life. And I have more sponsors, but I can't think him off the Layrite.
All right.
I want to give shout out to Layrite, keeping my hair nice and slick all the time.
Looking good, man. Looking good.
And, my management team as well, Iridium Sports. Shout out to Jason House, all the support and those daily messages that he gives me. And, very blessed to be surrounded by some really, really good people, hardworking people. And, if you surround yourself with hardworking people, it just rubs off, man.
Right.
It just makes you become a better man, a better person, a better human. And, we're California and Nevada and the whole world's going through some crazy times right now.
Exactly.
So I do want to give the message to give love and give peace, and you will receive love and peace.
Right.
So shout out
Awesome,
to all the humans out there.
Yeah. Well, Steven, it was a pleasure talking to you, man, and meeting you and hearing your story, man. It's really inspirational. It's awesome to hear, someone that's young and so talented and have a good head in the shoulder. So best of luck to you and your title defense, and we look forward to seeing not only your fight, but your progression in MMA as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the opportunity being on your show, man. I had a good time.
Yeah.
All right,
Thank you
man.
so
Take
much,
care.
man. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, guys. Have a good night.
You too, man.
And that was Steve Ramirez, CXF flyweight champion, defends his first title defense this November. So check it out if you're in the LA area. Make sure you go attend that fight because they put on good shows. So thank you to Steve for being on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Next topic, we have Anthony Johnson's been making the news this week. He is planning a return to the UFC, but this time at heavyweight. What do you think about this? It's kind of a quick retirement for this guy, huh?
Yeah, I mean, no one really took his retirement seriously. I mean, at least I didn't anyway.
No, I expected him to come back.
Yeah, I mean, heavyweight is a good idea. I think he realizes that John Jones is out for a while, so there's no really point to go to 205 because DC's a big threat and
Yeah.
DC can beat him again. So why not take a chance at the heavyweight? I think he's a big enough guy where he can compete with the heavyweight division. I think his punching power would probably be the same as a top heavyweight, and maybe, and who knows, maybe he could beat Stipe and win a title. But
Maybe.
I think without John Jones ruling 205, I think it's a smart move by him.
Yeah,
You have to worry about weight cut as well.
fresh matchups at heavyweight. I think
Easier way to get to a title shot too.
yeah, easier way to get to a title shot. You don't have to cut weight. You can honestly, you could probably just put on weight.
Yeah,
Or just stay where he's at because he's a big guy anyway. So I'm sure he cuts. He walks around at a good weight. I think it's a good move for him. Why not? I mean, either heavyweight or light heavyweight. There's not a whole lot of options out there for people. He's fought pretty much most of the people in the light heavyweight division. Most of the fighters there lost to DC twice. I mean, just go up to heavyweight. Why not? Make some money. Fresh matchups.
It's crazy to think that he once fought at welterweight. That's insane.
Yeah. Fought at welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight.
That's crazy, man.
He's fought at heavyweight before in World Series?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's been there before. Why not? I like it. It's good to have him back. I mean, I think either division needs some stars.
Yeah.
People like seeing Rumble. It's good to come back. Plus, he doesn't have to worry about John Jones. John Jones is going to be out for a while, so he doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like I said, he lost the current champ twice, so
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get a crack at a champ 3 times, especially when he lost 2 times. So
he was going into the weed business. I guess that didn't turn out all that he planned. The weed business. I don't know, but hey,
that's a good transition to the next topic.
Yeah, right. Our next topic, you have CBD oils is legal now at least with the WADA. Which I'm not sure if that translates necessarily to USADA, which I'm thinking they probably go by the same rules. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe. I'm not certain.
I guess it's good for at least some fighters that use CBD oil, and I think eventually, most sports would kind of like legalize the use of marijuana, and especially I would say that UFC, MMA in general is probably going to be one of the first. I think because they're already on that path, and most fighters advocate it.
I mean, why not? I mean, it's not. It has nothing to do with enhancing anything. I mean, if anything, it minimizes your chances of a good performance. Yeah. I mean, as long as you don't abuse it like anything else, I think it's fine.
It's fine. I mean, as long as you're not high, like extremely high, going into a fight. But even then, it's not gonna like benefit you all that much. It's actually gonna probably hurt you in a lot of ways because your reaction time's gonna be a little slow.
It's gonna minimize the chances of winning the fight.
Yeah.
Why not? I think a fighter is smart enough to know what he or she is going to do with their body. So I think, as long as you don't abuse it, I'm fine with it. As long as it doesn't hurt anybody else.
No, which I'm not opposed to it. It's fine. Even for the CBD oil aspect of it is not psychoactive necessarily, so you're not going to really get a high from it.
Yeah.
You're going to get more of the
healing
factor, like the calmness or whatever it does to your nerves and heals your muscles and stuff like that. So I mean, I think that's a step in the right direction. Eventually it's going to be to a legalization and people aren't going to get punished for it. We can see fighters like Nick Diaz just fight and do whatever the heck they want, at least in that sense.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have another guest, which I'm excited to get to. This is Kaytlin Neal. She is a Bellator fighter. Had her Bellator debut recently at 183. Great win, unanimous decision win. And she's she's a great interview. So you think you guys are going to enjoy this one. Kaytlin Neal. Kaytlin Katniss Neal, glad to have you on the show. Fresh off your Bellator debut. It was a little over a week ago. So how are you feeling? I know you're probably in a good place right now, right?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm super happy I got the win, but I had an injury going through the fight camp, and I've had it for like over a year. So I got PRP done on my knee. So I'm kind of just in a bump right now.
Oh my god!
So I'm not feeling too hot, but I still feel
good. So talk about that procedure. Like, what does it entail? What is it like for the fans? PRP? I'm not too familiar with terms of PRP.
So PRP it's kind of an alternative to surgery because I'm kind of doing everything I can to avoid it.
Yeah.
But What they do is draw your blood and then spin it and inject the platelets back in the area, and it's
Okay.
supposed to help naturally heal itself.
Yeah.
And they also scraped a bunch of fat out of my butt and then injected it in the area as well.
So you're hurting in two different places then.
Yeah. It's a little intense.
Yeah, yeah. So that extra, I guess the fat that they put into your knee, is that just to cushion some of maybe the joints or the ligaments, or what is it?
Yeah, that, and it's also just supposed to help your body heal itself like naturally instead of.
So throw some extra cells in there and some extra stuff in
Yep.
it. Yeah, that's crazy. So how long is this? How long are you expected to be out of training, or what? How long is this gonna take you out?
It's gonna be a while. Hopefully, I'll be able to fight again within like 6 months. I know I won't be able to grapple for 4 months, and I'll be in a boot for just 2 weeks, and then I'll get back to like striking and training and stuff. But I just won't be able to grapple for 4 months.
Okay. Is there some physical therapy associated with this injury, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna be striking out within the next week here. So.
Oh man. Oh well. Sorry to hear that, but I mean, also congratulations on the victory.
Thank you.
I know it was a big moment for you. It was a big time in your career. You're making your Bellator debut. You were fighting Brooke Mayo, who was probably get a lot of buzz, going into that fight, and you're the one to spoil the night for her.
Yeah.
So when it kind of like talk about that fight and how you felt, maybe even when it came to the decision time, like it was a close fight. So were you confident? How'd you feel?
Yeah, so I'll start from the very beginning. So how I got the fight was on Instagram. Bellator did a little shout out for Brooke Mayo and was like, "Happy birthday to Brooke Mayo. Who do you want to see her fight next?" So I commented and I said me, not thinking anything would come of it. And then she calls me out on Instagram and goes, "Let's do it." And then 20 minutes later, Bellator contacts me and we get the whole thing signed up and done. So
that's great. That's
great. I think it would happen, but it did. And so then leading up to the fight, I knew that they really liked Brooke from her last fight with Vita, and I knew they were kind of just bringing me in to lose, like just to build her a little bit.
That's what it seemed like a little bit, but that's why I wanted to get you on the show, because even before you guys fought, I was like, I like the way this is playing out, because I felt like you were gonna spoil the party for her.
Yeah. So because I knew it was her hometown. It was the hometown judges. Like even when I walked in, the crowd cheered way louder for her, just because they know her and she's fought for Bellator before, which I wasn't too offended by it. But and so even after the fight, a guy from Bellator that worked there, we were driving back to the airport. He was like, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, we thought Brooke Mayo was going to be a little much for you to handle, but good job." Like, you did it. And I was like, "Thank you." Yeah.
And from what I hear too is that Brooke was aware of you, where you guys are coming up through the amateurs. Like she's been in. I read an article where she was aware of you, and kind of was interested in the fact that your guys got matched up. I don't know if you were aware of that.
No, I hadn't heard of Brooke Mayo until she fought Vita, and because I fought Vita as an amateur, so I've kind of been following Vita through her Bellator fights and stuff. And I was like, even when I was watching Vita fight her, I was like, I guarantee I'm going to fight that girl one day, Brooke. I didn't think it would come this soon, but
that's crazy. I never hear of a fight getting matched up on Instagram. That's a new one right there.
I got extremely lucky being able to get that exposure through Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
But, I think you asked about how I was feeling right before the decision. I thought I thought I won the whole fight. Like I felt confident with it because I held her down on the ground and stuff. I knew she looked a little more aggressive than I did, but my punches were landing and kind of hers weren't landing as cleanly.
Yeah.
But I know she was beating me on the cage, but then when we got to the ground, I felt in complete control. Even though she was putting submissions on, I never felt in danger, or that she was actually extending the armbar or extending it in submissions. I never felt threatened. So I felt like I was in control the whole time when we were on the ground. And then even standing up, I felt like I had a little bit better landing on her. Like I was landing more punches. But so once I heard that it was unanimous decision, you can see my face light up when they say unanimous, because I realized that I won, because I was like, there's no way that they gave it to her, because I thought I could have lost maybe in a split decision. But
because anytime you guys got into a scramble, you always ended up on top. Basically, you always ended up in a more of a dominant position in the fight.
And my coaches were actually worried about that, because of course, my knee pops out during grappling the most, and so they were worried that my knee was going to pop out in the fight. And knew she was a purple belt, and she posts a ton about doing all these jiu-jitsu tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
So they're kind of worried about me going to the ground with her. But once we got to the ground, I realized that I felt a little bit more strong than her. And I don't want to, she's strong. She's like a really good girl. But I just felt like I could outpower her a little bit. And so I didn't feel uncomfortable on the ground at all, which my coach were worried about that she might out-grapple me.
So, so in the fight, you looked very calm. You looked very composed throughout the entire fight. Was that, was that kind of like the same thing feeling going into the fight? Were you nervous at all? No.
Oh no, I was kind of like a hot mess, I would say. Because I knew like I hadn't won as a professional yet, and I knew they were bringing me in to lose. I know they liked Brooke, so I was like, they're kind of just like, I have nothing going for me right now. I'm like, I'm just gonna give it all I got, whatever. I was not calm leading up to the fight. I was definitely a little nervous and scared, but I kind of figured I had nothing to lose, so just go for it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and talk about your first win as a professional. Now you had 2 previous professional fights. You were on kind of a 2-fight losing streak, and previously to that you were unbeaten in the amateurs. I mean, talk about that time period of those 2 fights. Was that like a growing period? Was there, what was going on during those 2 fights, and before this fight, was it kind of a reflection period for you going into this fight, like gathering things and going into this one?
So for those 2 professional fights, I fought just like really tough girls, and leading up to it, my knee was popping out like a ton, and so I couldn't do any grappling whatsoever, and I couldn't do any kicking. So basically, I was just boxing and then going into these fights hoping that I would beat them and like my knee would stay in. And so then after those 2 fights, that's when I went to like rehab and hoped my knee would stay in for this 3rd fight, and then it ended up popping out again during the fight camp, and so I got PRP done after it. But yeah, so leading up to those 2 fights, I wasn't getting very good training in because I couldn't really even spar. I could just like box.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was
just kind of like a crappy start to the professional world because I felt like I was a way better fighter than what my record showed.
Yeah, and exactly. But I think you have a lengthy amateur record, so I think a lot of people, it's just like one of those things that happens, I guess, in a professional fighter's career. You have that one little blip, and then So I think I just didn't know if there was anything else going on in terms of outside distractions, or like did you work on anything in terms of improving yourself? Like, okay, I need to improve this, I need to improve that going into the future, I guess.
So I actually got a mental health coach for this fight, and so that's helped a lot with how my attitude was going into the fight. So that was a big key, and that's kind of why I felt so calm in there.
Which I think a lot of fighters are doing now. You know what I mean? A lot of fighters use sports psychologists and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. So for the fight, were you was this like a big motivation to get your first win on such a big stage? I mean, that was this like I'm sure a lot of people were asking you for tickets, a lot of people were asking you for like for pictures, and so like this was a lot of attention for you, your first professional fight on Bellator. How was it for you?
It was kind of nuts. Like I knew going into it, like I was kind of so this is really lame of me, but I was asking for like a little bit easier fights on the local level just so I could kind of build my record and my confidence a little bit. And then so I was kind of looking for a kind of like a easier opponent for after my first 2 losses. And then Bellator contacted me and was like, "Hey, Brooke Mayo," and I was like, "That's not the matchup I wanted," but but the risk was way worth the reward to me, so I took it anyways, and it was crazy getting my first win on that Bellator stage.
Yeah, definitely. And you're athletically, you come from more of an unconventional place than most professional fighters. You're a former cheerleader, dancer, you're a personal trainer, and you come from a more unconventional place than most fighters. Like, do you what would you say to let's say your younger self, I guess, because you're only like 25 anyway, but what would you tell that person and tell them, hey, in a few years you're going to be fighting professionally? What would they say to you?
There's no way I would tell myself even like maybe 8 years ago that I'd be fighting, and I would have believed myself. Because growing up I hated fighting. I thought it was so stupid. I didn't understand why anybody would want to do it. I'm like, there's no point in that. I'm like, that's so dumb. And then even I had a boyfriend in high school or junior high, I think, who got in a fight with one of his friends, and and I just started bawling, and I left, and I was like, now I'm doing that professionally, like laughing.
Yeah. So talk about your how you got into the sport. It was basically you just went to a professional fight, right? And you kind of got hooked in that way, at least interested.
Yeah, I just went to some local MMA fights my first year of college. Yeah. I thought, going into it, I thought it was so stupid. I was like, this is so dumb. Why would anybody want to do this? Yeah. There was one girl fight on the card, and ever since then, I was like, I'm training. I'm doing that.
Yeah. Now, were you aware of anything about UFC, MMA, like any Ronda Rousey? Were you familiar with any of these people before going into the sport?
I literally had no clue about anything. I had no clue what a jab was. I had no clue or what a cross was, what a hook was. Like nothing. Like I was a clean slate when I first came in, and so I had to learn everything in a short period of time. Even now, people ask me about fighters that happened before my time, and I was like, I don't know who they are. Like, what? You don't know who that person is? And I was like, sorry. I'm trying to learn it all, but I can't.
Yeah. And talk about you in terms of training and learning about the sport. What aspect of the sport have you gravitated the most? Do you like the striking aspect, the wrestling, jiu-jitsu? What's your favorite? I think everybody has a favorite.
Yeah, it's hard for me because I really like jiu-jitsu, but I just always pop out, or like I always get injured doing it, Yeah. And so I love jiu-jitsu, and then I also love striking. I'm a little rocky at wrestling. Like that's a little part where I lack in, and I don't really push myself during wrestling. But I love jiu-jitsu and I love stand-up. So I don't know if I can pick between those two.
Now, as a personal trainer, you have that as your side career. You do a lot in the professional training world, fitness world. Talk about that. Like, what are you doing in that sense? Because I see you post a lot of videos. You do a lot of nutritional tips. And talk about that aspect of I guess your side career, your life.
Yeah. So when I first started fighting, I was a nanny and I was going to college, and then a supplement company kind of found me that was local in my area, and they brought me in to do some modeling, and then they brought me in to film some workout videos, and then they're like, hey, do you just want to work for us? And I was like, yeah. And so then they brought me in as a personal trainer, and so now I've developed a workout program that has MMA moves in it.
Awesome.
And
so where can people find that? Or
they can find it at idealfit.com, and then it'll be under Knockout Fitness, underneath the challenges, or you can just go to Knockout Fitness Challenge on Instagram. Yeah. And you can find the little thing there, and that's a newer Instagram page, or you can just find me on Instagram, and it'll there in my bio.
Do you feel like that, having that background, do you think that gives you more an advantage than other fighters? Because a lot of fighters struggle with nutrition, struggle with personal fitness, when they're not fighting. And I'm sure you're a person that stays fit all the time, so I'm sure that gives you an advantage. Yeah,
with my job, I definitely have to keep a certain image going where I'm working out all the time, which that's no problem for me. I worked out anyways, but before I was a personal trainer, before I even fought, I loved working out. Yeah. And so I always have to keep kind of a toned body image, so my weight doesn't go up extremely high between fights, how a bunch of fighters have to cut weight and cut a bunch of weight. And then also, it's really easy for me to diet because I know a lot about dieting and supplements and that kind of stuff. So it's pretty easy for me.
I'm sure you could save money on a nutritionist because you yourself is one. Yeah.
I've never had a coach help me with
a weight cut.
Or dieting or diet plans.
How much do you cut before the weigh-ins, or what's your walk around weight normally, and then how much do you normally cut?
So this is my first time ever making 125. I normally fought at 135, and I did even one fight at 150. Yeah. And I had to gain weight for the 150-pound fight. I just did. I probably won't fight up there again. But for 135, I'd walk around about between 140 and 145, and then for now that I'm fighting at 125, I walk around around 135.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. That's so cool. Then I normally just diet down to 131, 130 pounds, and then cut 5 pounds of water the night before, or the day, or the morning of.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, so It's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad. So in terms of Bellator, was this a one-off fight? How many did they sign you? Are they looking to bring you back? Was there any talks after that?
Yeah, so that's how I kind of knew that they were bringing me in to lose too, because it was just a one contract. And I was like, I have to prove myself to them. I know they're gonna want me. They're gonna love me. So yeah, the guy contacted my manager right when the fight ended and texted him and said, yeah, she's in the mix now with the 125-pound girls. So that's all I've heard so far. I haven't signed any contracts. I'm just working on.
So that's it. Like that's all in negotiation basically right now. Right.
Yeah. So hopefully they'll sign me. Hopefully they want me back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, is there anybody have you seen anybody else in the division that you know of that you would be interested in fighting? Anybody want to call out right now?
There's no one I want to call out necessarily, but I do kind of want to fight. I think her name's Ellen Bruno or something.
Okay.
She just barely fought Vita, and she has like a high train going.
Yeah, I've seen her. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't know.
So that's one. And it's also, I mean, you got to have wave your flag high because you have 2 victories, over 2 notable Bellator girls already, Vita and Brooke. So that's got to be something right there.
Yeah. It's kind of keeps me going.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, it's been great talking to you. It's been great getting to know you. Hopefully we get to see you soon. I mean, probably not in the next 6 months, most likely, right? Is there any way you can let the fans know how to find you on social media? Maybe even shout out some of your sponsors. Yeah.
Of course. So my first social media page, probably my biggest one, is facebook.com/Kaytlin Katniss Neal, and that's my athlete page.
Yeah. And
then Instagram is at Kaytlin Katniss Neal, and that's Kaytlin. Nobody ever spells Kaytlin right. So, and then
don't worry, I had I struggled too. Don't worry. Yeah, it is a little bit of a challenge right there.
Yeah, and then I just want to thank IdleFit for always standing behind me, even because they've been sponsoring me ever since I was an amateur, and they always believed in me. So I want to thank them for always being there for me, and they're basically my second family. And then I also want to thank at Taiga2 and my manager at Fight Path Consultant.
Awesome. Well, it's great talking to you. Hopefully we get to see you soon. Obviously in 2018, but it's looking forward to it, and best of luck in your career. And we'll have you on the show again soon. So.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Take care. You have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
And that was Kaytlin Neal, Bellator bantamweight. Awesome interview with her too, man. She's so cool, really nice. I was actually the one that obviously you guys saw if you guys heard it. I interviewed her. Took one for the team, man. It was a tough job talking to such a hottie, really nice, pretty lady.
I saw her. Jealous.
Yeah. But it was a good interview, man. She's super cool, super fun. It's bummed that she's gonna be out for at least 6 months. She's got with the whole injection surgery that she got on her knee after this fight. It was a nagging injury, obviously. She said that she's gonna be out till probably like early next year. So it's gonna be kind of tough.
Yeah, especially because she just came off a win.
Yeah.
Big win.
And with having 2 victories one over Brooke Mayo and then Vita Arteaga, two
top girls.
2 top girls in the division, and she's not even signed with Bellator, and she already beat them both recently. So I think they're going to give her a good contract, and
they should.
It's kind of bummed that they haven't.
She's very easy to market too. So
yeah, definitely, and it's kind of bummed that she didn't that she's going to be out for so long. So we probably won't get to see her for a little while. Let's get right to fight picks. Good fights this weekend. You have Bellator 184, Dantas versus Caldwell, and UFC 216, Ferguson versus Lee. Let's just check out the Bellator card real quick. It's in Oklahoma. That is on the 6th. You have a friend of the show, Emmanuel Sanchez versus David Strauss. Awesome fight right there. You have Pat Curran, John Teixeira, Leandro Higo versus Joe Tamalongo. It's a good stacked main card right there. That's going to be such a good, and Eduardo Dantas versus Darren Caldwell. Great fight right there for the bantamweight title. Let's go with co-main event and main event. Emmanuel Sanchez, Daniel Strauss. Who do you have?
Sanchez. 'Cause
Gotta go, man. He's the homie.
He's a homie. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to go with Daniel.
Yeah.
Or Emmanuel. I'm sorry.
It'd be dumb for us not to.
Yeah, so Emmanuel Sanchez. I mean, honestly, even if he wasn't a friend of the show, I'd still go with him because I think he's a tough
Tough guy. Yeah.
tough guy,
Mhm.
talented. Best of luck to him, and looking forward to maybe getting him on the show afterwards.
Yeah.
Talking to him. You know,
It's been a while.
it's been a little bit. So we have. I agree with you too. Emmanuel Sanchez all day. Daniel Strass is no joke though, so it's gonna be a tough fight for him. Eduardo Dantas, Darren Caldwell, bantamweight title.
Caldwell.
Yeah. I'll go with Dantas. I say he keeps the belt. So I'm gonna go with Dantas, and we'll see how that one plays out. That one's a good card there.
Yeah, it is.
Good card. Then we go with Ferguson versus Lee this Saturday.
In Vegas was gonna be kind of weird after all that happened.
Yeah. UFC is donating, I believe, $1 million over to the victims fund that they have there.
They should do more.
They should do more, obviously. Yeah. Benil Dariush, Evan Dunham for the main card. Kick off the main card. Who do you have?
Dariush.
Yeah, I'll go with Dariush. I say it's going to be decision, maybe unanimous.
Yeah.
Probably get some ground control there. Mara Borella, Calandra Ferrari. I'm not familiar with those ladies. Derek Lewis, Fabricio Verdum.
I really like Derek Lewis, but I don't see him beating Verdum. I think Verdum's on another level.
Yeah.
So I'm going Verdum.
I'll go with Derek Lewis. I say he spoils the party for Verdum, especially with Verdum having some, let's say, distractions this week. You got the argument with Tony Ferguson, and then you have
him getting fined by the UFC, right?
Yeah, or at least not fined, but did he get fined? I know he got assigned to do some community service.
I mean, to me, that's being fined. I mean, he got fined community service
because he got some. He made some not so friendly remarks that were a little homophobic. Yeah. So, which I know I saw the comments on some of the posts for that story on different websites, and people were not happy about him. People thought like, oh, they're being too sensitive, but you can't be seeing that stuff. You just can't. Even if it wasn't Spanish. I mean, even if it is fighting and you're talking crap to each other.
I mean, I agree that people are way too sensitive in 2017 and people need to relax. But at the same time, he is a public figure and he needs to watch what he says.
I think that's exactly my point. I mean, if you're in your privacy of your own home, even though it's still not good to say those things, and yes, people are very sensitive these days. Again, you're a public figure. You kind of need to watch what you say. You have fans that are young.
You need to be responsible for his any reaction as a consequence. So that's his consequence.
So I'll probably go with Derek Lewis on that one. Demetrius Johnson, Ray Borg, flyweight title.
DJ all day.
DJ all day. I think so too. I think obviously Ray Borg has a puncher's chance, but I think Demetrius is just better in every area.
Yeah,
and it's just hands down. So
far superior fighter.
I see him breaking the record this weekend and moving on to more of a high profile fight. I think he deserves it. Then you have Tony Ferguson, Kevin Lee, interim lightweight title.
I don't know. I think Kevin Lee is a great fighter, and it'll be great for him to win this fight, considering I think him and Conor can make a great promotion leading up to that fight. But I don't see Kevin Lee beating Ferguson. I think Ferguson is he's just an all around better fighter, better striker, better grappler, and I think he's proven his slot where he's at. I think Kevin Lee got where he's at by talking a lot, and I don't think that Kevin Lee has faced the competition that Tony Ferguson has faced, and I think it's too much for Kevin Lee right now. So I'm picking Ferguson.
I think so too. I mean, it's a tough fight. I would say Ferguson might be the favorite. That's interesting. I haven't really taken a look at the odds on this one. I say Kevin Lee spoils the party. I say he stays on the hype train that he's on right now. He rides it out. I think it'd be an intriguing matchup, him and Conor. I say he's.
Really?
I say.
It's not intriguing. I think Connor's gonna blow him out of
You
the
think?
park. Yeah, it's not intriguing at all.
Yeah.
I think Connor's gonna smoke him. I think Kevin Lee's gonna be an easier fight than Eddie Alvarez.
Well, the only reason I think it's a little bit more challenging because I think if Tony fought Connor, because he allows himself to get hit so much, it's not going to go well for. I could see him getting knocked out.
Whereas I just think Kevin Lee's an easier fight.
I see. Oh yeah, but I see Kevin Lee kind of avoiding those punches a little bit more than.
I think Kevin Lee and Connor would be a better leader.
My horrible fight. Yeah, I think so too.
But the fight itself, I think it'd be an easier fight than Eddie Alvarez. I think Connor finishes him in one round.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a fight. I think Ferguson can last more with Connor than Kevin Lee.
The
only intriguing thing about Connor and Kevin Lee is the lead up. Not the fight itself.
That'll be a fun.
Yeah, but the fight itself, Connor's gonna smoke him so bad.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
I think Kevin Lee's
like you watch Kevin Lee and Chiesa. I mean, he was losing that fight up again until he got him to the ground.
Yeah. So do you think Tony's gonna smoke him, or how do you think it's gonna go?
I think Tony Ferguson finishes Kevin Lee in under 3 rounds.
I think so. I mean, I would say he's a favorite.
His jiu-jitsu is a lot better, and then Tony Ferguson can get himself out of bad situations. We've seen him in bad situations that come on top. Yeah. And he's been on a murder. He's fought the who's who in that division, and he's won 9 in a row. I don't think Kevin Lee has faced the competition that Tony Ferguson has faced.
I agree too. I think I would say Ferguson's the favorite for sure. I think he has. I think in terms of quality fighters, I think he's fought better quality.
Yeah.
But I'll probably still stick with Kevin Lee.
Just because
make it interesting. I say he spoils the party. I think he rides his hype train out, and gets a. I don't know if he's gonna fight. You know, I think if it was Tony getting the title, I would say the matchup with Conor would be more likely. But who knows? Kevin might talk himself into a fight with Conor. That's a possibility. I see Conor kind of like, scoffing at him and pushing that fight aside and probably taking the fight with Nate.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
I'll go Kevin Lee on this one, and it's an interesting card this weekend. So
yeah,
it's gonna be awesome right there. And that's the show. Thank you for guys for watching. Listening on iTunes, watching on YouTube. Go to themmacomplex.com for everything MMA Complex. Pick up the shirts there. Past episodes, you name it.
Yeah, and you can follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter, MMA Complex James. You can follow him, MMA Complex Josh. You can follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the MMA Complex. And yeah, we want to give our thoughts and our prayers to the victims over there in Las Vegas. It's something tragic, and those of you guys who can do a GoFund and donate, please do so. And thanks to all the brave men and women in the PD who put themselves in harm's way to do what they did. So our thoughts with Las Vegas, but I'm looking forward to this weekend. That 216 card is really going to be really exciting. So we'll talk about that and much more in our next episode. Until then, enjoy the week and enjoy your fights.